Hello, my name is Silveroxis, and this week we're getting two new units. We're getting Agnea and Temenos for Octopath Traveler COTC. So this video is going to be overviewing Agnea, the Passionate Dancer. As said, she is a Dancer class character. Her main roles are either support or when DPS. Special abilities is she has really good party-wide buffs, and she has the ability with her EX skill to extend the active buff cap to 50%. Her preferred weapons would be the Brave or Void Fan from the Live Collab, because as those give buff extension passives automatically. If you don't want to use one of those fans, or for DPSing, you could give her a buff extension A4 from Premex or Hisumi. Her own A4 is very good for giving her a lot of SP. Other SP and HP accessories are great for support, and then when DPSing, magic attack increasing accessories are ideal. Her passive skills, she has her latent power from Octopath Traveler 2. It's called All Together now, with an initial cooldown of 2 turns, and it recharges in 4. When activated for that turn, all of Agnea's abilities are effective range improves. Single target attack become AoE to all enemies. Single target ally buffs become front row, and front row ally buffs become hit all allies. Her 1-star passive is whenever she uses a skill or an ultimate, all affected allies gain Passion for 3 turns. This is a special unique buff that gives every ally with it 5% physical attack, magical attack, and critical up. This Passion also enables her 3-star passive. Important to note that Passion is locked to 3 turns per use whenever it's activated. It cannot be extended by the buff extension A4s or the fans with the passive on them. Her 3-star passive is a self 30% when damage up, which is great for whenever she wants the DPS. And it's also Uplifting Dance whenever enough allies have her Passion buff. Uplifting Dance 1 whenever at least 4 allies have Passion, changes some of her skills and gives her a 10% SP regen. Uplifting Dance 2 is when at least 7 allies have Passion, and it changes her skills again, and gives her a 1 BP regen per turn. To move on to her skills, her base skills are really nothing special: 3-hit single target fan, and a front row P attack, magic attack, critical up for 2 to 5 turns. Her 1-star skill is a 3-hit single target wind that, with Uplifting Dance 1, has a medium chance to inflict charm, which is a small chance every turn for the enemies to be unable to act. Not very useful for this. 2-star skills, 3-hit single target wind that also hits fan weakness. If max boosted, she will act last in the turn, and that's important because with Uplifting Dance 1, it'll also heal the front row, so it's a useful burst heal in a pinch. Other skill would be a 3-hit single target wind that also exploits fan, that with ultimate Uplifting Dance 1 inflicts 15% physical and magical defense down, and with Uplifting Dance 2, it inflicts 10% physical and elemental resistance down for 2 turns each. This is a very good debuff. Her 3-star skill is a front row 15% to magic attack, magic defense, and critical up for 2 to 5 turns based on boost. With Uplifting Dance 2, it will also grant 15% all elemental damage up for 2 to 5 turns. 4-star skill would be a single ally 30% physical, magical attack up, and critical for 2 to 5 turns. This is one of her best skills because this becomes all front row allies with All Together now. With Uplifting Dance 1, it'll also restore 20 SP to all of the allies, all front row allies, and with Uplifting Dance 2, it'll also grant them all 1 BP. 5-star skill is a front row 15% physical attack and physical defense up, basically the inverse of the magical skill. And with Uplifting Dance 2, it'll grant 50% physical damage up for 2 to 5 turns. And as you can see, that she has a 15% skill for both physical and magic, and then the 30% skill, if you combine those together with her EX skill, it's a 45% buff. Her final 5-star skill is her main damaging nuke, is a 3-hit single target wind that also exploits fan. And with Uplifting Dance 1 and 2, the hits increase from to 5 hits and 7 hits respectively. And if you pull her on a release and get her to 6-star versus playing her at 5-star later, the 6-star upgrade increases all hits by 1 for 4, 6, or 8 hits. And an 8-hit nuke is very good. Her TP skill is just a 3-hit AoE win, so no need for her altogether now to make it AoE. Exploits fan, and if you use at least 1 BP on this skill, next turn all allies will get priority on whatever skill they choose to use. That might be useful for some niche situations. Moving on to her EX skill and her ultimate. Her EX skill has 2 total uses, and her EX skill unlocks when you have at least Uplifting Dance 1 unlocked, which can be done like instantly if you use her ultimate or just do a front row buff, so it's very quick to access her EX skill. Her EX skill has priority, and what it does is it increases the active buff cap for physical attack, magical attack, and critical from 30% to 50% for 2 to 5 turns based on boost level. And it also increases the damage cap for your front row ally for all allies by 30,000. So this is a very good EX skill, and you can use this in conjunction with her other skills to have a higher buff damage threshold over 30% easily, or stack with other units. Her ultimate is a support class ultimate. It only takes 3 BP to charge if it's level 10. It is a priority. All allies 5% physical attack and magical attack and critical buff for 2 turns, but this upgrades to 10% and 3 turn duration with ultimate level 10, making ultimate 10 a pretty good investment for her. Using the skill will also give all allies the passion buff, which will instantly give Agnea both of her uplifting dances, so it's very useful for that. And it stacks great with Primrose EX's ultimate to cap the ultimate and physical and magical attack to 30% and increase the duration. When it comes to her awakenings and her A4 accessory, when she's acting as a wind DPS, A1 is always good for higher base magic attack. Acting as a support, A2 can be helpful to be able to bring more buff and debuff options. A3 is going to always be a good investment because enemies will continue to hit harder over time. However, she is a perfectly usable unit at A0. Awakening chasing is definitely not required for her, but they are useful, and I would say that taking Ultimate 10 first would be better. Her A4 accessory is the Mother's Keepsake hair ornaments, which gives 100 SP and 40 speed to the wearer. The key benefit to this A4 is the fact that while the wearer of this A4 is in the front row, the entire front row gets an additional 30,000 damage cap. This is very good because for high damage builds, your DPS is already loaded with damage cap accessories to hit as high as possible. This A4 allows them to get even higher damage cap without them needing to wear this accessory, just have a unit in the front row with it. So whales will really like to get this accessory on release. And it's also a good accessory to exchange for once her stones become available in the exchange in about 3 to 4 months, around April to May, give or take. Unit synergy, she has great synergy as a support, as she functions well in just about any single team because she can both buff both types of attacks, both types of defense, critical. So if you have someone that can give magic crit as a buff or can inherently do it, and damage up buffs, and she can even burst heal on the bench. Her ultimate is being able to instantly give all allies passion, followed by her EX skill. She can get massive buffs up and going rapidly. She works well with Primrose, like I said, and other buffing characters. For example, Richard is a good one that has who has his own 20% physical attack and damage up buffs, which, capped with your EX skill, would instantly let you get to 50% pretty easily. If you're bringing her as a wind/fan DPS, do not bring her for physical fan. Bring her for her wind skills to exploit fan, so build her with magic. She already has capped up damage as her passive for wind, so her accessories can be focused on magic attack instead. She synergizes very, very well with other magic supports and debuffers, as she has no inherent wind res down and only a 10% elemental resistance down. So another unit with elemental resistance down or wind res down is very helpful to maximize her damage. Signa, for example, is very good because she can apply powerful debuffs with her ultimate and elemental resistance down with her countdown skill that will stack in duration and potency to 25% with Agnea. Other wind DPSs like Sophia EX, Lavina, and Odette are also great, as Lavina and Odette also have wind resistance down as well, so you can make very powerful magic wind teams. Optimal skill layouts for using Agnea. If she's in her support row, I would recommend bringing her front row 15% buff for physical or magical, depending on which comp you're running, as very few comps will need both, so you usually only need to pick the one that's necessary. I would always bring the single ally 30% buff because this is made front row by Altogether Now, and that's a very good use for Altogether Now. Another skill I would bring is her 3-hit single target wind that can exploit fan, but specifically the one that can debuff enemies when she has Uplifting Dance, because that way she can shield shave a little bit and apply some debuffs that are very helpful to have on the enemies potentially. If you have A2, another good skill that you can bring is the 5-star skill that can be up to 8 hits to help shield shave. And then an alternative option would be the 3-hit single target wind that also has the burst heal built in just in case you need it in circumstances. If you're bringing her as a DPS, I would still bring the single ally 30% buff that's made front row by Altogether Now, because even when DPSing, being able to instantly hit buff cap or get even closer to the 50% cap with the EX skill is very, very good. Otherwise, I would also bring her 3-hit single target wind that debuffs enemies, and then her main nuke, which is the 3-hit single target wind that increases in hits up to 8 hits when you have 6-star and both uplifting dances. And then bringing the front row 15% magic attack up for and with the damage up can also be useful. So overall, whether you should pull or not to pull, regardless, if you love Agnea as a character, meta does not matter to you. You should pull for her if you like her. No matter what anybody says, if you like the character, pull for her. Have fun. Other than that, in terms of meta speaking, if you're free to play, I'd probably recommend skipping unless you're a brand new account that doesn't have any supports. Because while she is an excellent character, you probably have other supports that can do similar things, even if they're not quite as potent as her. But if you decide to go for it, you probably won't regret it. If you're a light spender or like only get the passes, you could probably still skip and be fine and save for better other units that you might want. Or you could go for a copy, no big deal, but definitely do not get more than 2, and choose Ultimate 10 over A1. If you're a Dolphin, I would recommend just going for Ultimate 10, get at least 2 copies. If you want her to be a win DPS, if you need that, get A1, maybe stop there. A2 is a luxury, it's nice to have, but you don't need to chase it. And if you're a Whale, A4 ult 10 on release, like many units are recommended to do. She is an excellent support. Her A4 is great at maximizing the highest possible damage cap if you can, and because of her EX skill allowing you to reach 50% active damage, active attack up, that allows you to do even more damage and reach damage caps even higher. Overall, Agnea is a very solid unit. I would place it either at the bottom of S tier or the top of A tier. She might be roster dependent, but she has a valid home in most any team composition, and is a very powerful support. And, she's very fun to play, as there's a lot of fun things you can do with her. Overall, if you have any questions about her kit or anything like that, please feel free to leave them below. And after I pull this character, I will try to make a short unit overview showcasing some of her skills in actual battle over this PowerPoint. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for future Octopath COTC reviews and guides. And I will see you all next time.